trying to clean up what actually happened and change it all around so that, in other words, he comes over to me being nice and he says, "What time am I due out?" And I say 6:18. You heard him testify that I said 6:18 and him saying, "Well, it's 6:16 now." Now, the problem with this whole thing is you're trying to pretend as though I was sitting there since like 4:20 in the morning with the work and just not doing it. But I testified that when he came in, the other supervisor yells at me and then slings the paper over to me. Okay? So that happened at 6:15 and let's say 45 seconds. So now it turns 15 seconds later, it turns 6:16. You'll get verification later, but it's important for you to remember now he just testified of the time frame. It's simply I have 2 minutes left. When was it that I was going to have time to fix the phone later and go out? And if that's important, if that's the way it's done, why is it that the depot master wasn't saying to everybody that he was assigning the bus, why was he saying, "Open your phone and let me see that it works"? Okay, if we all have the time to do it later. More importantly, if I only have 2 minutes to do the route, that means I'm going to have to not do the DOT inspection of pre-inspection of the bus. I'm going to have to run, grab my papers, and hit the road. No inspecting the bus is against the law. And they will hang you for that. Imagine I go out, in other words, and the brakes aren't secure. I'm driving down the road and I have an accident. They're going to blame me because, "Mr. McSwain, why didn't you inspect the bus?" I surely can't say, "Well, I didn't have time to do it," because that's not going to fly. You know I'm going to be fired. Let's just listen a little more.
Maybe you didn't appreciate Darrell going, "Hey, McSwain," but you said, "Mr. McSwain, that's right, Mr. McSwain."
Now, you just heard him say, maybe I didn't appreciate. In other words, you don't hear me saying any of that. He's saying it for me. Of course, I didn't appreciate the man yelling at me and then you trying to come over as the good cop, him being the bad cop. But why are you now saying, listen to this very importantly, why are you now saying maybe I didn't appreciate the way the other gentleman was calling me, if you're later going to say the other guy had hardly anything to do with it? He just happened to be walking past. What happened to his yelling McSwain? What happened to him snatching the paper from me? He's purposely leaving that part out so it will appear to the union rep as though he came over to me nicely and I flipped out. Let's listen.
And I said, "Can you get a bus, please?" And you stood up and you said, "Yeah, I'm not texting on my phone." And you put your phone down and you said, "You're only going to rush me."
Right here, you just heard him say he asked me, "Well, can you get a bus now?" He never asked me, "Can I get a bus?" He never got to it because he's trying to say when I responded 6:18 that he says, "Well, it's 6:16 now. Can you get a bus?" He never said any of that because when I said 6:18, the other gentleman snatched the paper and said, "Yeah, you're still sitting here texting." Now he's trying to testify that after he asked me, "Can I get a bus?" I became upset and said, "Mr. McSwain, yeah, Mr. McSwain." And I stood up and I put my phone down on the desk and I said, "And I'm not texting on my phone and y'all not going to rush me." That doesn't sound right, does it? Why would I even mention I'm texting on the phone or not texting on the phone if you didn't say it to me? But let's go a little further.
And that's when I took your paddle away and said, "You can go home."
Him. Now, with no racism intended, this is a Caucasian man. His hands are white, okay? We'll see if he's telling the truth, but it's going to be quaint. Remember, I'm claiming they were bullying me. He's standing on my right saying some of the things that he said that he's saying here, not all of it. And the other gentleman was on my left trying to do the bad cop thing, leaning over me and trying to antagonize me or trying to make me afraid. He took the paddle away. You heard him say it. Let's go further.
Because that's unacceptable. Room full of people. I mean, if I come to
You hear, I need you to hear this again. He says room full of people. which is that point that I was trying to make.